Welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to Performing the World 2025. Give yourselves a big Zoom round of applause for being with us. Once again, I would like to give a big shout out to anyone that is hosting a watch party. I have a couple of pictures. We're going to show them a little later. But we're going to continue to roll on the last day of Performing the World. Once again, big thank you to Wycliffe Barasa and the head teachers and teachers from the Busia County in Kenya. But now we are going to travel westbound to West Africa. We are introducing to the stage none other than the Gift.
Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And it's such an honor to be here today and hosting this. I'm sure you all can hear me. Can I get the emojis? All right, thank you so much. And I'll be really quick with my introduction because we have great stuff in stock. My name is the Gift Chikere, and I am a creative artist. I use the mediums of poetry, um, I think that you could just put up the slide for my introduction. So for those who want to read while I just talk. So my name is the Gift Chikere. I'm a spoken word artist, and I am the mobilization lead for the ARTvocacy movement in Lagos, Nigeria, where we are doing serious work with creativity, with different forms of art, diverse forms of art, and we are consistently putting out work out there. And it's an honor to be hosting this with you and having you in attendance. And for our topic for today, our theme for today's conversation, which is very, very important, which is from silence to signature. It just mirrors down the work advocacy movement started in 2020 and what we've been doing, how we've been creating strong performances in response to the situations that we found ourselves as a nation in Nigeria. I would not be doing this alone. I have with me my very colleague, my friend, my fellow artist, my fellow leader in the advocacy movement. I would allow him to do the honors and introduce himself. Please take it away, Chekube Isaac. You are muted.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear
Yes.
me now? All
Yes.
right, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone watching right now. And thank you so much. I feel it's such an honor for me to be moderating this session with my beautiful friend, the Gift Chikere. My name is Chik. I just saw someone wrote big checks. My name is Chekube Isaac Eze, and I'm a creative artist. I'm a singer, songwriter, and I'm also a filmmaker, right? I'm based here in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm so privileged to be serving as the creative director of the ARTvocacy Movement here in Lagos, Nigeria. Like she said, we've been putting in the work, and we've been acting consistently using our various forms of art to actually, speak up concerning things that we care about in order to make our society a better place for us to live in. And it's been a very wonderful one so far, and we're here to share this with you so you understand better what it means to actually, speak up, what it means to actually transform the situation that you have right now, which can be a mess, into a message, right? So over to you once again, the gifts. Talk about the topic and take it up from there as well.
Okay, thank you so much. I would really appreciate if Des can just put the slide on the part where we have introduction to advocacy. Let's give a short breakdown of what the advocacy movement is all about. How did we even start? And I feel like it's very important to know that how we started is the reason why we have a topic such as from silence to signature. In 2020, there was a lot of police brutality happening in Nigeria, in Lagos State, in many parts of Nigeria. And it's been going on for years. But I think 2020, with the NSS movement, was the height. Young people were tired. Young people were saying, hell no, enough is enough. We are done keeping quiet. We are done being silent. And it's time to speak up. And it went ballistic. The situation went ballistic. Young people died in the process. And we, as individuals in the Street Project Foundation, we thought to ourselves, what can we do? How do we speak to power? How do we address this? How do we turn this mess into a message, what would be our role in navigating this? How do we come through? How do we become a part of the conversation? How do we become part of the change? And we've been using the ARTvocacy movement since then to speak to power through theater productions, through poetry, through filmmaking, through visual art, music, different mediums. And if you look at the name, it's called ARTvocacy. There are two important words there. Number one is art, and the second one is advocacy. So our medium of speaking to power, our medium of moving mess to message, our medium of putting our crafts out there, not just as entertainers, not just as artists, but people who have a sense of responsibility for society, is to use our art. And we came and we coined the word advocacy. It's a movement that is currently in about 7 states in Nigeria, if I'm correct, Chikube. 7 states in
Yes, very
Nigeria.
correct. Very
Yeah,
correct.
7 states in Nigeria, Lagos State, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Enugu, Abeokuta, and it keeps growing so far. And it's actually an offshoot of the Street Project Foundation. And we have young people every day. We are training young people, young artists, young creatives on how to understand the responsibility that is placed on their art and how we should turn silence to signatures, because you can say, oh, these people are powerful, the people in government, the people who are in leadership positions. What can I do as an artist? What can I do as an individual? How do I address the situation in a way that I feel like we don't just come out beyond the protest, beyond writing on social media? What can we do? And we've been using our arts to navigate that. We've been using our art to navigate that. And during that period, young people were expressing their pain on the streets, often at the risk of being harmed or even silenced. And the Street Project Foundation recognized the need for a safe, structured, and sustainable platform where young Nigerians could speak boldly without fear of violence. So the key word here is a safe, structured, and sustainable platform. And we have been using our art, our creativity to say, okay, we're not just going to sit down and be quiet and be silent and feel powerless. We're going to use performance. We're going to use music. We're going to use different
Spoken word
methods.
poetry.
Yeah, spoken word poetry. Can we have the slide for the NSAS protest, please, Des? Yes. The one before that, yeah, the first one, this one, yes. Not the one with the flag, the one before the flag. Yes, this one, you
That's
can keep it.
after. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's after, right? So the NSAS protest saw young people, young Nigerians clamoring for change, saying, we are no longer going to be silenced. And as a movement, we said, how do we become part of it? And we joined. We joined in a safe way through our arts. You could see young people gathered, and we might not have achieved all of the change we're looking for, but trust me, it's been progressive. The government listened to a large extent, and they are now even more conscious. So basically, what we're trying to say is that you can turn silence into signatures through your art, through your creative medium, whether you're a poet. You don't even have to be a poet. You know a poet, you can lend your writing, different forms, and we are doing that as a movement through creative mediums, through different approaches, through diverse artistic expressions to speak to power. Can I have the next slide, please? The next one. No, the
Okay,
one
so
we
basically,
have as advocates, we use performance to educate, to mobilize. Can you have
I
that
think it's the
slide?
one after this.
Just one step after this.
I think it's forward after the video we're meant to play.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, this particular one. So this is just a picture of some of the advocates. And I think we did a song in this particular place, Chekube, right? And then
Yes, yes.
yes.
Called
And we were,
Swimming in Silence.
Exactly,
Actually, for
exactly.
this, we did a song that this was done in 2022 as a tribute for some of the protesters that were killed. Let me make this clear. When the youth came out to protest the police brutality, they were massacred. Like they were killed. A lot of it was gory. We're meant to play a video that highlights what went down during the NSAS, but we understand how gory it may be. And I'm going to say this now that if you really want to know more about it, it's not an hidden fact. You can go on YouTube, you can do more research so you understand better where we're coming from and the need for us to, advocate in a more safer way, right? So this piece, if looking at the picture right now, the piece that is there is a tribute to those that lost their lives, to make them understand that we've never forgotten, and we are going to carry on with the flag, with the protest in a more safer and artistic way, to ensure that our message is being driven home, to ensure that our voices are not silenced. That was why myself collaborated with the Gift Chikere. There is Gidzi there. There is Benjamin. A couple of other creatives, both those in the technical department as well. We did the stuff, the projects, and we put it out there, sponsored it, and it was something wonderful. I think it's brought about a transformation like we never expected it to, actually. So yeah.
Okay, so it shows the level of impact, and you can ask yourself, what makes a performance memorable for artists? What makes a performance memorable? I think it's more than just an expression of your artistic ability, but the change or the message that is behind it. Behind why you're doing what you're doing. So there's also a question of why we do what we do. Of all things to talk about, why we do what we do is what makes a performance memorable. And this is because we understand what we believe in as artists, as creatives, as young people. What do we believe in? Let's look at the next slide. There's 2 slides. What do we believe in? The next one. Yes, what do we believe in? We believe strongly that art is more than just entertainment. That is what makes a performance memorable. It is action. It is resilience. It is resistance. Art is a voice. It's a movement. Because I believe that we take the world as it is, chaotic, unjust, or messy, and we redesign it through creative expression. We transform mess to message, then transform message to movement. So we transform mess to message and message to movement. So it's really important we have that buried at the back of our minds as creatives, as young people, as elder people who are gunning for change in different perspectives, in different ways. We understand that particular, we have that mindset that it's from the mess to the message. And when the message stays long, it turns into movement. So I would love to play a video at this point to really show what I mean by turning message in the sense of development. When I think of development, for a nation like Nigeria that is still very growing and a lot of structural problems, how do we navigate this mess? How do we move from the place of silence to signatures using our art? And using my art, I'm a poet, so this is what I did to further buttress this point. So Des, can we have the first video?
What is development, if not the slow stretch of self? The honest work of becoming and becoming again. The trembling moment when a girl with questions grows into a woman with a voice. One that no longer asks permission to be art, to be loud, to be here. I have lived it. In the stillness of my room, grieving my mother's death. In the breaking open of silence, in the way my people choose to find possibilities in the dust and dare to call it home. Lois says it's not just progress. I say it as performance. It's not a finished line. It's a dance, a dialogue, a doing that sits well with me like a rhythm I've always known but do not have the language for. Because I have seen healing walk into a room dressed in community. I have seen boys with broken fathers find their future. I have seen dreams with tired feathers take flight. I have seen my own growth, not in titles but in tears. Not in the aimless pursuit of passion but in pain. Not in the applause of society, but in the knowing that something shifted within me because I chose to show up daily whole. So yes, development is who we are and what we are doing to become. It's every time I choose to grab a mic and a pen, not to impress but to ignite. It's every time I choose to speak when silence feels safer. It's every time I choose to build with my hands what society has crumbled. It's not about numbers. It's the music of meaning, the art of healing. That my work might become a beacon of hope, my life a light. For we were not just placed on earth to merely exist and survive, but to become daily together as one.
So can we have thumbs up or can we have emojis if that video resonated with you? And I think that's like one of the many ways. And it will interest you to know that the entire water scene of that particular video wasn't planned. In fact, there was a flood. And I was waiting for the flood to dry out, but it wasn't drying out. The rain wasn't going to stop. And I said, how do I make a message out of this mess? And I had to dive into the flood to make that performance. And that is what we're saying. You have to be able to move from the ordinary to the extraordinary. You have to move from silence to signature. You have to do something memorable. You have to make an outstanding performance as creatives. And in addressing development, generally as humans, in different capacities of our life, in different areas of our life. So I would not want to spend so much time. I would also want us to see a video where I spoke about misinformation and the media. How as we live in an era where we have people who are constantly on their phones, but how important we use the internet safely, because during the 2023 elections, if I'm very correct, there was some sort of ethnic war on the social media platform in Nigeria. And it looked like people were going to kill themselves, literally. And I told myself, how do I turn this mess into a message? How do I not just sit on the sidelines and be quiet and be silent and have my signature, have my voice, have my art in responding to this situation? So Des, please play the second video.
Our life is a voice.
An old adage says, actions speak louder than words. But in today's generation, words kill faster than actions. With just one click on the send button, bullets made from hate speech hit my target continents away. It is death at first read. The cemetery is social media, burying its victims alive before an autopsy is done. Every victim is survived by likes, emojis, and comments of rest in peace by the same fingers who never typed words of peace. A comment is never just a comment. So take a moment to consider your words before you post them. Fact check to find the truth of every information. And our differences in belief, religion, preferences, and opinion should never be the graveyard of our existence. Let's be the voice to those who have been silenced, whose self-words have been crucified on the cross made from hate speech. We need to come together to fight. This is a good fight for our faith. An old adage says, actions speak louder than words. But this generation is faced with a greater threat. All it takes is one unchecked speech and a click to start a war. We are faced by a greater threat than genocide, and the funeral will not be televised.
Okay, are we still together here? Can I get emojis so that I know we are still together here? Beautiful. And that particular video was addressing the amount of hate speech that was online, the amount of tribal and ethnic war that was happening on social media, and how we need to understand that in diversity in a nation, there can still be peace, there can still be unity. And that is me saying, I do not want to just be silent. How do I put my pen? You know how people go ahead and say they're going to sign something online, be part of a particular movement. I wanted to be part of that, and that is what the advocacy movement on the larger scale does. We ask ourselves, how do we become part of the situation? How do we move mess to message, message to movement? And these are the various forms. In the advocacy movement, we have people who are doing visual arts, who are singers, who are rappers, who are using all kinds of artistic medium to propagate different situations and provide solutions, and in a safe way that do not hamper us or put our lives on the line. And to continue this conversation, I would like and love to pass the mic and pass the ball to Chikuba Isaac. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's very wonderful. Like every time I watch your art, it speaks to me in different language every single time, right? And I want to believe it does same thing for other people out there. Now, the beautiful thing about the advocacy movement is that you may not really know it all. I've seen people who walk into the platform with being one thing, and at the end of the day, they discovered other things about themselves. The last boot camp we had someone who came into the platform as a spoken word poet, only for him to discover that he could be a fantastic rapper, and he's gone on to win fantastic prizes since then. So it means that you don't necessarily have to be this or that. It's you understanding the fact that your voice matters, right? Can we quickly do an exercise before I continue with the playing of the other videos and explaining other ideas here tonight? Can you please put your hands on your chest, wherever you are? Put your hands on your chest and make a whisper to yourself, saying this: my voice matters. Say like you're whispering, my voice matters. Now you're going to say it loudly so you can hear yourself. My voice matters. Now, it's very important for you as a creative to find yourself, to discover your voice. The only way you can be able to transform silence into message is when you understand who you are as a person, you discover who you are as a creative, understand where you fit in the puzzle, right? I believe that everyone is born to come solve a problem, right? For me, what informed my artistic journey is the fact that I felt peace in performance, right? I was a child that was bullied as a kid, right? Growing up back in Warri, that's a southern region of Nigeria. I was bullied for a lot of reasons, and I kept on asking myself, why is this so? Why is it that nobody seems to want me here? So then I started having suicidal thoughts as a child here, and in my head, I didn't even know it was called suicide. I just knew that I don't want to be here anymore, right? Wherever I go, people started calling me names and stuff. But the only reason that kept me going was my voice. Like literally, the fact that whenever I express myself, whenever I sing, whenever I put myself out there, you could feel the energy in the room. You could tell that someone's life is about to be transformed. That was what informed my art in the first place. That was what inspired me to move on with expressing my talent. I told myself, you know what? I believe I have a reason to be here. I know that I have a purpose to fulfill here on earth. And how can I do it? Discovering my voice and understanding the power that my artistic expression possess. Can you please play the next slide for me, please? Yes. No? Can I please have the next slide?
Sure.
Okay. No, move forward. After the gifts video, move forward again. Okay, right now this is me. Okay, leave it here. So this project I did was a response to the fact that I, for one, I was once a child domestic worker. I've witnessed firsthand what it means to actually be on that, receiving end of being a child domestic worker. Now, child domestic workers are young children, right, who are sent from their home to an external or extended family member to live there with promises of, having a better life, being sent to school, But at the end of the day, what do we get? We've seen a lot of child domestic workers who are, living under very harsh and inhuman condition, right? They're suffering. Some of them are beaten to death. Some of them are deprived of basic health care. Right. I, for one, I was once a child domestic worker. I was sent to live with a distant uncle one time, and the story wasn't palatable at all. So that informed what the message behind the song, right? It's a song that speaks for the right and protection of child domestic worker in the society. Can you please play the video? It's a music piece.
This is video number 1.
Yes, please. That's the Omodo.
I don't get the cry from deep within. This now one of the things you got to rethink. Every child supposed to be your picking. You got to show love to humanity. As you shine your eye, remember to Baba. Those can't buy. Oh, you can relate. See them every day, crying and wailing. You set freezing up. You can be that change. Put a smile on their faces. Cause all mother said, nah, person kikino. Take this thing, put them for bottom bed, put them for chair, put them for your round there. I'm on the self-confused. To tell me, mama, papa, village people say you go carry him, go have. You know if you tread them, you know if you beg them, you just take that slide. I pick you from the gutters, lie. If now your mother, the gram make you pause, rewind. A mother don't suffer, oh. A mother. I'm the shit I'm pressing on I'm the make you try to train I'm the make you not stop around I'm the, yeah I'm the, no, do I'm the, no, do
All right, thank you very much. So that was Omodo, right? Omodo is actually a very big project by the Street Project Foundation, also the ARTvocay Movement, right, in collaboration with other different organizations, right? We're trying to sensitize over there. We're trying to sensitize the entire public on how to identify a cry for help when they see one, how to actually, be part of the conversation, actually, spread more awareness and, shine the torchlights into different cases. And we've seen a lot of progress in various situations. We've had a lot of response calls from different people, and we've intervened and stepped into the situation to ensure that the actions that we take are of the best interest of the particular child. Okay, and we have direct numbers to call just in case you see any situation of any child domestic worker that is being maltreated. What are the call to actions that you can take? How can you make a report? Who can you report to? Right, so that was the case for the Omodo project. Can you please play for me the next video? Video number 2, please. Hello. Des, can you please play for me video number 2? I think it's from that.
Drip, nigga chopping up my liver. And every time I scream, nigga come the tipper. Give me that drip, oops, I can't afford it. My pocket been licking, Naja killing me, I die. You know, the Naja story, open like domino, rotty from head to toe. And now we know it's composed, because we done the chops, don't leave for with the shop back that flexing abundance. And we step it all down with the cheap part online. Now what I want to do? And everybody screaming, shouting till noon. She you not think about it when you don't bring this governmental, fundamental. She know they tired to snatch box. They playing the Hunger Games, now we fucked up, yeah.
It be like say them they use us play games. Hunger Games. I dey fear. I don't want mention names. You will want use 1.5 billion. Build borehole will be 5 million. You where they chop our money, oh. Private jets with the money, oh.
All right, thank you very much. I need to say this now, just in case you're not too conversant with the Nigerian entertainment space. There is a genre of music called Afrobeat, and Afrobeat is really making wave right now. It's just gained global attention, global recognition. You know, it's originated from Nigeria, and that is one of the tools that we as young musicians who are creatives in the space, who are advocates, we are trying to leverage the global recognition that Afrobeat has to drive home our message. And the language that Afrobeat uses most of the time is what we call Pidgin English, okay? And that is the message for the song Hunger Day is us literally crying to the government, saying Hunger Day. It means there is hunger in the land. It's a song that addresses political instability, insecurity, bad governance. You know, the lists are endless. Over here in Nigeria, a lot of things are, you know, a lot of people are scared to speak up, right? Because they're scared that, okay, if you speak up, something bad is going to happen to you. We've seen cases where advocates get, you know, activists and advocates, after speaking up, they either get arrested or they get criticized for standing up for themselves, or they just suddenly go missing, right? But we are saying that you cannot shut us down. We're going to use the various means of artistic expression to actually drive home our message. And it's been wonderful so far. It's been wonderful so far. Then lastly, because I'm also a filmmaker, I believe that I wear that different hats, right? I'm not just expressing my talents with music. I use the various forms as well to express my talents to actually address various mess in the society. So I came across someone who was born with a speech impediment, right? Whenever he speaks, you cannot even hear what he's saying. And he was bullied in school. At some point in time, he had to drop out of school. He couldn't, you know, that this is someone who's got a dream of becoming a filmmaker, but he was born in a situation where he literally had no control over, right? So I decided to tell the story. I went to visit him one day. I met the family, met the father, the mother, and it's a very wonderful, wonderful piece. I want you to watch it and tell me what you think about it on the comment section. Can you please play it for us? I don't think we have so much time, but you can play the clip for us so we can, you know, see and understand the situation. So let's please play the last clip for us.
My name is Nicholas. I'm 20 years old. I was born in Lagos. I'm brought up in Lagos. I have a dream to tell stories that we touch the world. Even though my voice sounds different. Growing up in Lagos was for fun. At 5, but from challenges, I think my speech element, like talk, but someone, it's only my friends that listen to me, but after that, if I speak, they'll hear one like him, and wow. It's okay.
Today's story is about resilience and determination. It is a story about Wisdom Cletus, a 20-year-old who lives in Lagos, Nigeria. I met Wisdom about a year ago, and one thing that really struck me about him is the fact that regardless of his limitation, regardless of his challenges, he's able to see beyond that, and he's able to, build up momentum to face his dreams. And I think that is something very inspiring. I wish everyone out there is able to see and learn about his experience. Now, the main goal why we decided to tell Wisdom's story is so we can be able to raise awareness about speech impediments, right? So that the society will be able to see from their lenses the challenges that they face, and also to further advocate for better opportunities and inclusion in our education and vocational sector.
My name is Imabo Cletus Gabriel. Me and mother Wisdom. 2003, I come Lagos. I come meet the papa Wisdom. So I carry belly. I born Wisdom. But before Wisdom no go talk. I make him the fear person to follow talk. But since thank God for him now, he's a talk for person. And then say me that talk, he make him Wisdom no go school. Since if you Wisdom read, you know he read. Because on that talk.
My friends, they laugh at me. But I don't do it. I just live here with my feet and sit out. Most of the time, I don't put my house. When I speak to someone, like, you don't understand me, but when I take my time, like, he is more, like, he won't actually want that. The last time, he said, oh, what's the amount? I should not eat. I don't feel like here. I was more than that. My fishing element make me not express myself. Like somehow, like, some people will ask me in my class, but I can't stand up and like, when I stand up, like, you eat down in front of me, you don't understand me. So I just sit down. I love dancing. Why I see someone dance? Well, I learn on my own. Nobody taught me how to dance. I just learn and I help people. When I dance, I feel happy. Dancing make me express myself better. Dancing make me for my life. When I dance, I feel liberated.
Go school say na dancing. They say na dancing good though. They say no good is good. Me say na dancing for village. This say for no for now. Now we say one talk. Now native one. No for this English now. So now that one don't pass. The first work and Papa say me go then for long passer. And Papa say me go learn mechanic and driver. So we some go either na 6 months, 3 months. We some no go again. We some say we some go work. We some go dancing. You no go work. So sometimes either me go I go place, I go that working place, go look Wisdom, no see Wisdom. People go say Wisdom no, they no come home. Some people see they come, you see they go dancing. Wisdom come back. Wisdom don't come back for work. He say yes. I just shut up. I no talk Papa hear them. That one don't go. Another day again, Papa come back for work. Go brand say make go see Wisdom. Moga say Wisdom don't come. She don't go dancing. So one day Wisdom no go work again. See no one land don't work again. No one learn mechanic and driver. See one go in a barber salon. So my Papa say okay, by yourself find out the place you want go learn work. Okay, Wisdom go find. Yeah to come by here. So Papa go see. Carry money go pay. So now Wisdom do well for that place.
Why I make me do what my name? I know where people money. So I like me out to learn. Mama here can make me feel productive and empowerment. Like when I map someone, like when I map me, like what makes that work like? So that work like my mama Magali for sure. The money on my own. Magali for sure.
Okay,
I
thank you
don't
very
do
much. Thank you very
money.
much.
So,
I don't know if I can.
what Magali for
We
sure
can
that
cut
you
it
say?
short here. Is
Um,
it possible for us to cut it short here? Thank you very much. It's a 10 minutes documentary, and I want to believe that you've gotten an idea as to what the storyline is, right? It takes us through the journey of, okay, it takes us through the life journey of wisdom. Cletus, the title of the documentary is called Unmute the Story of Wisdom. You can check it out on my YouTube channel, right? It takes us through the journey of wisdom. Cletus, how he's able to navigate life regardless of his speech impediments, right? They don't even have money to go to the hospital to start, with. Whenever they attempted going to the hospital, it has always been a negative result all through, right? And because of that, wisdom had it tough in life, but in the midst of all the chaos, all the noise, is able to turn a situation into a message. He's very resilient. I've had him on different projects, even before the documentary and after the documentary. And as a result of the film, we've been able to cause a ripple effect in his community. Right now, I'm training 5 people in his community on filmmaking. They saw this film sort of went viral within his neighborhood, and I started getting calls. Oh, come and train my child! Come and train my child! And I think that is that is something very wonderful. That is what the arts can do, right? Makes people feel seen, makes people feel the need to want to become somebody in life, right? It was a reaffirmation for wisdom. He called me to a corner, and he told me that because of this thing that you've done for me, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to ensure I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to become someone of impact and influence in my life, right? So I think that is what we do over here in street at the Street Project Foundation with the work that we do at ARTvocacay, right? We look for situations that are mess in our society, and we'll ask ourselves the question, where do we fit in? How can we stir up conversation? Recently, I don't know if you guys have heard about the quote unquote genocide going on in Nigeria, right? And we realize that a lot of youths are so scared. A lot of youths are not informed. A lot of you don't really know what's going on in the society. So we took it a step further. We had a meeting where we just did, we just stirred up conversation to get the youth to start to talk, to start to understand the environment they live in, to understand the political ecosystem, here in Nigeria, and how they can, fit into the place, and in turn use their art to advocate, to turn the mess into a message. The Gift, I don't know if you can pick it up from here as well. Maybe we can start attending to questions in case anybody have a question to, ask. The Gift, please.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much. I'm always inspired by Chukwube's work that he does with music, with filmmaking, and that is exactly what we're trying to say. How do we move from silent to signatures? How do we move from mess to message, message to movement? And at this point, I want to say we are open to questions about the advocacy movement, questions about our work as creatives, questions in general. You could just raise your hand, and we would definitely take them. You can also use the chat box also if you just want to write your message, your question rather.
I have a question. Thank you, The Gift and Chekwubi. Just beautiful, beautiful work. Thank you so much for sharing and for doing what you're doing. You said earlier on that ARTvocacy movement is in 7 states. And I was just really interested to hear how do you get started? What's the recruitment / organizing process? And I've learned a little bit about this from Rita, but not as much as I would love to know. What is that like?
Okay, so thank you for that question. That's a very good one. And I would explain this with the current project we just concluded in Lagos, Nigeria. So about 2 months ago, we had a call for application. So we have a project around child domestic workers exploitation. Then how do we start? We have a call for application. And we say, are you a creative? Are you a dancer, poet, you're a filmmaker, whatever mode or way of artistic expression you're involved in, we have a call for application. Then young people would always sign up. There's a link that is put up, they sign up. Then we have an audition. We have an audition because we have to narrow down. We narrow down to about 15 young advocates, and we take them through a 4 weeks process of, I love to call it transformation, of teaching them what it means to be an artist with a responsibility. And the focus in this particular situation is child domestic workers. How do we bring awareness about child domestic workers in our community using our art? So there's a 4 weeks boot camp, a creative boot camp that teaches them about the advocacy work, about Street Project Foundation, about what the movement is all about the goal, about the strategies and how to put your message out there in a safe way and become an advocate. So this is how, that's the process of it, of becoming part of the advocacy movement. And after that, there's a graduation ceremony, and then they become watchdogs in society. They become champions in society who look out for child domestic workers who are in really delicate situations, and they continue to use their art to propagate the message of awareness. So this is how it works.
Fantastic. Incredible.
I see a question in the chat, the gift. If artists are not chosen from the audition, can they try again?
You're on the mute.
And go to raise.
My bad. Sorry for that. So in August, we had people who auditioned in Festac. There's a place called Festac in Lagos. And if you did not get in, you could come for the next audition happening in Bagada or maybe in Ikeja and try again. You know, so the reason why we don't take that bunch of people immediately, because it's important that it's not how much, but how well you train people. So we can focus per time at a particular with a particular number of persons, and we graduate and move. At the same time, regardless of whether you get into the advocacy movement from the boot camp, you can also join. It's an open community. You can also join and be part of the movement by just we have community meetings once a month, and we always put out posts out there on social media inviting young people to be part of the movement, and it's been increasing ever since.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful performances. Do you ever, is there ever a new, quote, issue that you take up with your ARTvocacy that is suggested by some of the young people that you're training?
Can you come again with that?
Oh, I wondered, I understood that in the example that you gave, the domestic workers, the young people who work, that was the theme and the topic and the issue. And I was wondering if the young people that you meet and then start working with in the boot camp, et cetera, ever recommend another issue that you then pick up.
Okay. Definitely. We're always open to, like Chikere said, there's always something happening in Nigeria. Right now, there is a genocide. And we can say, oh, for the next 1 month, we're going to create content addressing this particular situation. So people are welcome to bring suggestions, to bring opinions, to bring ideas, and we see what we can create with each one of them per time. Chikere, do you want to add to that?
Yes. We are not only centered on child domestic workers. As a matter of fact, we started with another thing, right? When we started in Abuja in 2021, I was privileged to be part of the boot camp that happened in Abuja, right, in 2021. I think that was November into December for 6 weeks. Myself and 24 other creative were put together, and we addressed a lot of issues. We came up with a podcast. We did a film that addressed the mental health crisis, right? We tackled a lot of issues. We came up with songs addressing political instability in the country, addressing corruption, addressing gender-based violence. Like, the list are endless. And in different locations that we've been to, both in Benin, in Port Harcourt, in Enugu, in name it, we are in 7 locations. It has been from one situation to another situation, addressing various issues. So we're not just limited to child domestic workers, right? Even in the boot camp, we do organize a session called what's it called again? That is championed by Mrs. Rita Ezenwa Okoro, right? Reflection sessions where we open up the space for people to pour in and express themselves, what they've been through, various issues that they've been through, the various journeys of them, right? And we try to use art as a healing tool to make them heal through the process and see themselves in a better light. So yes, to answer the question, we are open to various crises in the society.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think I'm next, perhaps.
Yes.
Hello, The Gift.
Hi.
Jacoby, thank you. Don't have a strong enough thank you to express. I'm just thinking about so many young people in the United States and in other countries who I also connect with, and we do, for whom art is so important, and the creation of their art, and the significance to impacting the world, including the All Stars Project, which you probably have some sense of, which is a national movement here, somewhat international, and in terms of there's sort of the power of creating community with various kinds of art. And so I'm just wondering, you have so much to teach and offer just in this, like, just even if I took the video of this workshop and shared it, there's already so much to offer. So I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts about connecting, how you would suggest to connect with you and what you're doing. So with people around the world.
Okay, so I think that's a very beautiful offer, and I think strongly that the goal of the advocacy movement is bigger than just the both of us. That bigger than just me and Chikube. The goal is to be able to connect with young people who share like minds, with organizations or movements who share the same passion. So I strongly believe that we are definitely open to such collaborations, such opportunities to expand, to reach out, to connect and share our wealth of knowledge, have that intercultural exchange.
Great, thank you.
To also add to that, I think we are on social media platform, on all social media platforms, on Instagram at @ARTvocacy_NG. You can send us a message there, and you can also find our official email on that platform. So we're open for collaborations and connection as well. Thank you.
Sure. Yes.
Great.
I see a hand raised up.
Yes, Thalia or Jesse?
Jesse, yeah.
And Sally, hi, yeah.
Hi, yes.
Mary with a hand. I'm happy to go for it, but Mary just.
Mary, will you go ahead, Mary?
Yeah.
Mary, you're on mute.
You see,
Sorry.
maybe lost.
Anyway, it's kind of an extension of Gwen's question, and I'm just curious and interested in coming back to Nigeria for a moment, because I'm guessing I don't know a lot about the situation, but there's obviously much happening, and I'm sure other groups and activists and that have grown up as well or have existed before. And I guess I'm just curious what your relationship is like with them. Is there a growing kind of appreciation or embracing of arts, performance, amongst other movements, other groups, other whatever exists? I'm just really kind of, I guess, asking a bit more about, including how you've influenced through the young people that you've trained. How have they taken it out? Just a broader sense of how this is now moving through Nigeria, or yeah, let's just stay with with Nigeria for the moment?
Okay, so I would say there's a growth in the advocacy's mindset of artists. Like there are other movements that are clicking into this who are different artists who are understanding that beyond art for entertainment, there is art for responsibility, there is art for social change. And we tend to collaborate with those people every now and then. There is, for instance, there is Poetry Village, which is anchored by one of our advocates, Divine Favor, and they are also big on art for advocacy. They're also speaking about different social concerns using their art and mostly spoken word poetry. They're very focused on that. So there are different organizations in universities, in institutions who are also propagating this ideology, this mindset, who are coming out with their art and saying beyond entertainment, beyond just for the good vibes, being young and wild, there is also a place for responsibility.
Saya.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, I'm just blown away. So thank you for that. It gives hope in times when there is so much chaos and mess and seemingly more chaos. My common question is the gift. I think I think that's what I heard. You were talking about creating safety, structure, and sustainability. And I'm speaking from the US. There's a lot of emphasis here on psychological safety. And I see you creating actionable safety in the way you create structure. And my question is, in the midst of chaos or even genocide, as you're talking, and I also come from India, and where caste system is very alive, and in very local ways, how class and caste functions, that creates that divisiveness, that pulls people, right? And we are all located in it, in the sense of we all carry some identities where people might position us in one group as opposed to the other group. And I'm curious, how do you create that kind of safety through art, given your own positionality, given your own location, as you try to bridge people and community? It's a very complex question, and I apologize if I'm in so many places, but I would love to hear from both of you how you bring that sensibility.
Okay, so I'm going to use the video, the second video that was played, the one where I talked about hate speech, the media, and the origin of that video came from me really being disturbed about how Nigeria was going with the elections in 2023. A lot of ethnic divide, a lot of diversity. People were saying all kinds. You couldn't verify what information on the internet was correct and not correct. And those particular videos, comments, charts were beginning to have some level of mental weight on people. And politicians were using it as a strategy to divide the people even more and create more chaos. How do you now say something about this? How do you not remain silent? Yes, do it with a level of safety. If you listen to the video again or watch the video again, I did not get to mention any particular tribe. I did not get to say, oh, the Igbo tribe is fighting with the Yoruba tribe and the Hausas are just nonchalant and the Efik. I'm not mentioning tribes, yet I'm talking about ethnicity. I'm talking about tribes in Nigeria without mentioning the tribe, without being on it. So you can talk about a political leader, for instance, without mentioning the name. That's safety. So you not put yourself in harm's way, so that you do not come to a point whereby after you're done with the video, you are missing in society. Because what's the point if you become an advocate with your art and when you're done, your life is threatened? And that is what the advocacy movement helps to even teach us as creatives, where you can speak up to power, you can approach power, you can talk about a situation and at the same time be safe while doing it. it's really important we find the balance psychologically, emotionally, mentally, in the different ways we are coming to address situations, yet understand that if you lose your life in the process of fighting a cause, the cause will still go on. We don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose you. So we must find a way to advocate safely, the choice of words, the kind of visuals we put out there, how we express ourselves in a way that we are heard clearly. In fact, the point is being made, yet we are safe while doing it. Chikere, do you want to add something to that?
Okay, yes, I want to add something to it. Actually, the truth is, it's more like saying without calling everybody out, without calling anybody out. So you're calling everybody together. Let me give another example. During our boot camp, we did a play called Bobo, right? For that play, we had to create another identity that it won't be like we're trying to call one person out. We created a new language, even the names, the identity, and everything. We had to create it. Okay, someone's
Somebody needs
I'm
to
hearing it.
mute.
Yeah. So we try as much as possible to be intelligent while doing it. But the truth is, the truth is this: we can only try our best. We've seen situations where you employ all safety measures. At the end of the day, someone still gets missing, right? We can only do our best. That is why we also have partners that we're working with. We have human rights organizations that we're working with, but we're just ensuring that you, as an advocate, you ensure that you do your part. Do you understand? You do your part, you are enlightened, you know what's going on, you know when to use non-affirmative words, you know how to, you know
Yes.
this kind of smart approaches that you can, and you can employ for every project you are given to employ. You can make the statements, and people get the language, they understand what's going on. For instance, when I set up conversations amongst young creatives during our last meeting we held in Bagada community, I did not take it. I was non-partisan, but I know what I was doing, right? Shockingly, I had some persons who told me that they did not believe that genocide was like there's genocide in Nigeria. Even with all the evidence, they did not believe. I know I know the truth, but I did not in any way try to influence their opinion. I just had to like start a conversation for them. So at the end of the day, I will not be, found wanting in any way. But then again, I've been able to drive home the message and speak up and not shutting up.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, both of you, the Gift and Chikere. I wanted to, in particular, thank the Gift and just to share that we're using your poem, My Poetic Take on Development, a lot in the Creating Our Mental Health workshops, which the in-person ones that I lead around the communities, diverse communities of New York City. In particular, I mean, the poem calls out for performance, and I love performing the line. I hope you don't mind.
Please go ahead.
Because we've seen healing walk into a room wearing community. I walk into the room and we sharing our stories, letting our stories, every time we sit in a circle and let our stories breathe next to one another's. We do that, we perform that, we go sit by people sitting in a circle and they're telling their story. So this is Creating Our Mental Health workshops, and I wanted to share that with you. I've wanted to for several weeks since I first heard the poem. And just to ask, so these are very grassroots workshops with people sitting together, people of all ages. And my question is about intergenerational, bringing people together with young people, and mental health. The issue of the creativity and art, it's so helpful, and performance is so helpful for people dealing with mental health issues, or just in general, all of our mental health, not even for people with diagnoses, but for all of us to be able to perform in our lives and to have that in every day in our lives. So that's my question. Thank you so much, both of you.
That will be the last question.
Okay, so if I get you correctly, the question, which was, I think, first of all, I want to say thank you for the shout out. I want to say thank you. I think at the end of the day, when I was creating that piece, it's about breaking the norm. And when it comes to healing, I've come to understand that sometimes healing, it's in community. And what do I mean by that? Sometimes healing is in the third person. Sometimes healing may not come from within. Sometimes healing is on the outside. Sometimes healing is within a group of people. Sometimes healing is within strangers. The healing you want, sometimes you have spoken to XYZ persons, but you get into a community and you feel safety. And in the world where we live in, where young people are really brought down with a lot of mental issues, emotional issues, psychological issues, I come to see that if we see healing beyond just something that, oh, you have to save yourself, nobody's coming to save you. Sometimes people are coming to save you. You just have to find the right community, the right group. You have to find the right third party who sees you beyond you. Like the documentary that Chekube did about that guy, and it's about finding the third party. Chekube is the third party. I'm sure his mom has probably given him some level of encouragement over the years, but he didn't sink in until Chekube showed up. And that is how healing is in community, is walking into a place and finding strength regardless. And I hope I was able to be of help, of use to
Thank you.
this
Yes. Thank you.
amazing audience today. I want to say thank you to everybody who showed up. I do not take it for granted. I want to say thank you to the Performing the World community for putting this out there. Last year, I was just a guest. This year, I had my session. So I want to say thank you for the great opportunity. And to Chekube, my awesome colleague who has always been, and my friend also, I want to say thank you for doing this with me. Thank you so much. And thank you to Des for all the emails.
And thank you to both of them once again, the Gift and Chekube. Let's give them another Zoom round of applause. We're going to open up the whiteboards for about 1 minute and let people share their thoughts, emotions, feelings, draw, write, post. All right. 20 more seconds.
Chekube is my guy.
Okay. Thank you all so much for contributing to the whiteboard. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be performing in and with the mess here, there, and everywhere with developing across borders and creating our mental health. Directly followed by the closing session at 4:30 p.m. So we will see everyone later. Thank you so much once again, the Gift and Chekube, and we'll see everyone later. Thank you.